Hey folks, this is Chris Johnson at Living Waters Fly Fishing with another online fly tying tutorial. Today we are doing Dave's red squirrel nymph. So we're going to be tying this fly. This is a great all-round pattern for warm water species, cold water species alike. You can invert it for carp if you want it to ride hook up. But the general premise, we want to show you how to tie the fly. And I use this a lot on the Guadalupe River as an attractor pattern for trout. The one I'm tying today is going to be a little bit larger just for the sake of the camera. This is on a brand new hook from Tiemco called a 201R. The 201R is not quite as elongated as the 200R, and it has a little bit bigger hook gape. And being a 2X long hook, this is just about the right proportion that I use personally for this fly. And I've tied this fly on a B10S a good many times too, where it has more of that stinger type structure. But with this, you're going to get more of that trout kind of elegant look to it. And I think this hook does an amazing job. Just a tungsten bead on the front. You can vary the size depending on the hook type and how deep you want it to go and how fast. This is just a tan 10/0 Vivas thread. Work your thread to the middle of the hook here, and we are going to put on some fox squirrel tails. So this one has, this is not roadkill, but it could have been. It's pre-flattened. It's really nice. But nonetheless, this tail fiber ties just the absolute most wonderful nymph tail on this. And the fly obviously gets its name from 3 different uses of squirrel in the fly. So you've got the abdomen, the thorax, and the tail are all made out of fox squirrel. So what we're going to do is we're going to take those squirrel tail fibers that we have right here. We're going to place them in our stacker, and they're going to go in tips down. You want to go ahead and stack that up. Just like so. Strip that out, and we have a very nice bunch. Pull any of the shorts out. Got a really good bunch of squirrel tail there. I'm a little heavy on fibers, so I'm going to thin this out just a smidge. That's a little better for me. I like that a little bit more. And just a little word to the wise here. I would actually go ahead and tie this in down the length of the hook for a couple of reasons. Number one, obviously it's going to make it, be in there really good. It's just going to be locked tight. But the other part is the next step is we're going to put legs and dubbing and all that stuff on here. And the dubbing, if we have an underbase of this squirrel tail, it's going to actually allow me to use less dubbing in the process and allow me to save on material as we go. So step one, put your squirrel tail in just like that. I'm going to come back up here. I'm going to add some rubber legs. And these are, I'll find the package to show you. These are just a silly leg in a nymph size in a pumpkin barred. So same thing I would use on like a Rio Bandito. Same exact leg. I love these things. They move like crazy and they look amazing on the fly. So I'm just going to tie both those in. I'm going to repeat that process. I know that it does take a few more thread wraps and a little bit more time, but I like building up that underbody. And that final bit here, I'm going to split these legs off that little tab that they're on. Get that guy and break those loose. The final bit here is pulling the legs off to each side and making a wrap right here, because I want those legs to V out on the tail. I want them to split to where that tail is right there in the middle of those. I'm going to come in here just for sake of ease. I'm going to trim those to a little bit more appropriate length, take the remnants here and cut those off as well. The final step on the tail before we begin the dubbing process is we're going to add some gold tinsel. So this is just an oval French tinsel is all this is. And I'm going to just cut myself a section of this off and put that right back there in the spool. That's more than enough. I could probably get 2 or 3 flies out of this, but I want to make sure we have enough to show. Same story. I normally come in here. If we're going to add bulk, I add it in the body itself. I tie this lengthwise down there. And the biggest thing I'm going to note here, make sure the tinsel, the tail, and the legs all meet. That is something I have to say. Make sure that all meets. Put that in your material spring over here if you've got one, or you can just simply cut it to the right shape and let it dangle. The next step is we're going to do the dubbing on the abdomen, which is this color right here. It is actually the red squirrel abdomen dubbing. I love this stuff. And this dubbing is specifically made to Whitlock specifications from Wapsi for this fly. So we're going to take this and it's going to give that nice kind of, well, it's just going to give that kind of orange fox squirrel looking color. And that's what we want. General rule of dubbing, take what you think you need, cut it in half and cut it in half again, and you should be right there, close to the proportions that you need. Make a little dubbing noodle, see what we got going on here. You can always add more, it's just a little hard to take away. Finish my dubbing noodle here, wrap that nice and tight. And all we're going to do is begin our dubbing wraps moving forward. One right in front of the other, trying to build up that quantity of dubbing ever so slightly as we get towards where the thorax will be. You'll see right there, that's trying to get a little loose on me. You can simply go in there, tighten that up. And a little too much. I'm going to go in there and try to get this to where it really lays tight. If that ever happens, and sometimes it does when you're getting to the end stuff where it's a little bigger, don't worry about it. Just go in there, remake your dubbing noodle at that end section there, and it'll taper off just how you want it, just like that right there. Stroke that back, and we're golden. That's exactly what we want. I'm going to counter rib that, meaning I'm wrapping this in the opposite direction of the way that I dubbed, just spiraling this tinsel up the fly. I want to get those fairly even if possible. That one tried to jump off my dubbing there. I want that to sit just about right. That's it right there. Hold it while we make that securing wrap. Drop the thread over a couple of times to secure. All's well. Come in here, trim that off, save the rest of your tinsel for your next fly. Tie that down. Check the wraps out. Everything looks pretty good. Make sure our tail's still split. I think we're looking good there too. So make sure your tail on either side of your squirrel. You got a segmented body with your tinsel. And now the rest of it is going to just simply be legs, and you're also going to have more hackle. So what we're going to do, the hackle is going to be a soft hackle in this Hebert Minor wild type. And so all I'm going to do is pick a feather that's fairly size appropriate for a size 8. And this should be pretty close right here. See what we've got. That's going to be darn near perfect. I'm going to leave a little bit of this downy on here, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually wrap this feather in tip side first. I could have actually gone a little bit larger on this feather, I think, but it's going to do okay. I think we could have gone a little bit bigger here. Tie any of that other stuff down. It's all well and good. Grab your hackle pliers, put it on the stem, and begin your wraps. Take that, once you've made your first one, kind of stroke all that back, stroke all this back. I'm going to take everything on this wrap and pull everything rearwards to where it mashes all of that back. That's what I want right there. I'm going to leave a little bit of that downy because I like the profile of when you get that little bit of downy in there, and it makes it just look a little bit more stonefly gillish, for lack of a better term. It's going to have a lot more motion in the water, and that's what I'm after. Once you get there, trim this off as close as you can get it. Pull everything rearward and make a few wraps. And if you'll notice, that leaves us a little bit of room once we wrap all that soft hackle down. That leaves us that room right there to finish all of our thorax and put our legs in and all that good stuff. So what I want to do, first off, and this is going to seem a little weird, we're going to use this stuff right here. This is that red squirrel thorax dubbing, and this stuff right here is amazing. What I'm going to do is lay down a little, not much. This is not the finished product. We're going to take a little bit of this and make a small dubbing noodle and lay down just a little bit of a base. And you'll see why in just a second. I want a little bit of a base in between the bead and especially over here against that hackle, just like so. I'm going to get right in the middle, and I know I crossed back and forth, and that's totally okay. I want that right there because I'm going to add my legs into that. I don't like adding my legs on this fly directly to the hook, partially because they spin. Second of all, I just think they actually bite better when you put them into this material here. So I'm going to add this on the side of the hook, just like so. So you should see that little X, where it's kind of going to make that little X leg. That's exactly what I want. You can trim those a little shorter, about like that. Do the same thing on the opposite side. Beautiful. That's what we want right there. Little X legs. Now we're going to come back over and find that dubbing yet again, and we're going to finish the dubbing work and position the legs appropriately with our dubbing while filling up the head. So here I'm going to take this, I'm going to dub it tight to start, and then I'm going to finish kind of loose, where I can brush this out, tease that out, do whatever I want with it. But I like a beefy thorax on these things. I think it does a really good job of helping the nymph catch a little bit of water and tumble a little bit more. And I love this fly for that reason. So what I'm going to do, take that back leg, position it right there. If you'll notice, I've got him in position now, but I'm going to take this last bit here and add a little bit more in that section. And I'm going to finish the rest right in between. That's perfect. Come in here, position the legs where you want them. I'm going to pull those tight. I'm going to pull these front legs back and make a couple of wraps right behind the bead. What you are left with, the legs sit perfectly. They're doing exactly what you want them to do. And the final step to the fly is literally a whip finish, and then you can brush that thorax out or pick it out with a needle for a buggier appearance. But that right there, just make a couple of whip finishes right behind the bead and you are golden. And then if you want to, you can take your scissor tips and tease some of that dubbing out, giving that just a little bit buggier appearance. That's why we overdub that slightly. You could take a dubbing brush or a dubbing pick, anything you want, but just anything there just to pick that out and make it a little bit buggier for the overall appearance. Get your legs symmetrical. Take your tail, cut it to the appropriate length. Should be just about like that. Make sure it's splayed on either side. What we have is a finished red squirrel nymph, one of Dave Whitlock's greatest patterns. It catches stuff everywhere you throw it. I love this fly. It just looks so good in the water, and it fishes exceptionally, whether it be bass, trout, or sunfish. It'll get the job done for you. Not a complicated tie, a couple of steps. I think with a little practice, anybody can get it. Thank y'all so much for watching. Let us know if you have any questions. We're happy to help. And if there's anything we can do for you for the Fly Shop, just give us a call, drop us an email, or reach out to us on social media. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in store on the water soon. Take care.